Right, so if you thought that junior race was exciting, that's only the prelude to the main event of the day, the cadet race. Cadets always put on some great racing, very close these carts. And it's Zach Naylor off pole. Luke Wilson, series leader, is off grid 2. They've been neck and neck all year of these two, but Luke Wilson currently leads the series from Zach Naylor, but it's reversed for this race. And so far the points on the day, so Zach Naylor, Luke Wilson, Dan Sullivan is always there or thereabouts. I'm fairly certain he is third in the series so far. Ellie Wilson, Brock Helm, those two are very close in the championship points. I think Brock's ahead of Ellie, but it's almost the order that they're in for the championship, but not quite. But it's been really good to see the progression of a lot of these drivers, not only in the cadets but also the juniors, seeing their times get quicker and quicker throughout, and their racecraft improving as the season's gone on. These kids have all been pretty much matching each other's lap time. The top 5 or 6 kids are all very similar paced. Some great camaraderie amongst all them. And if you just look at Zach Naylor there on pole, for me, he is the pinnacle of good sportsmanship. He's always first to congratulate other kids that beat him, giving them all a thumbs up on the grid. Boys and girls and mums and dads, we can all take a leaf out of that young man's book, I tell you. That is what sportsmanship is about. Our starter getting ready for the third and final cadet race here. Round 7, I think I was told, of the junior series. They're getting ready for a start. They're off and racing. Great start by particularly the top 4. A little bit off was Brock Helm there, but we know his pace is good. He'll charge back through the field. So it's Zach Naylor, Luke Wilson, Dan Sullivan, Ellie Wilson, Brock Helm, Dylan Camelocker, Geordie Slater, Annabelle Kennedy and Aidan Thompson, who's been getting better and better with lap times throughout the day. So we've got the first two pull their little gap again, as they did in the first race. Zach Naylor, Luke Wilson all over him. Dan Sullivan, Ellie Wilson, Brock Helm. Not far back to Dylan Camelocker, who's really come forward leaps and bounds with his driving of late, particularly the last couple of rounds, and he's been showing his amongst the pace. Geordie Slater right behind him, Annabelle Kennedy not far behind either, and a great first lap there also by Aidan Thompson. So on the flying lap, fastest 46.2 for 2.2 for Dan Sullivan, actually is the 46.22, sorry, for Luke Wilson. 46.56 by Zach Naylor. Then it was a 47.20 for Ellie Wilson, who's fourth. A 47.22 for Dan Sullivan. But if you look, so you got a group of 2 and then a group of 5 carts. They're nose to tail. This is going to be a good race, boys and girls. Luke Wilson up the inside. He's having a go at Zach Naylor. These two have been racing nose to tail all year and really put on some fantastic racing. Luke Wilson's never one to give up. He will race young Zach all the way to the checkered flag. And you never know when he'll put the move on. He likes the last lap moves, does young Luke. And certainly a big fan of racing all round. An avid follower of NASCAR and Formula 1. If you want to know anything about that stuff, you ask him. He'll tell you. Oh, look at the race here on for third position, but it's Dan Sullivan, Ellie Wilson, Brock Helm, Camelocker, Geordie Slater. Nose to tail, a little bit of a gap back to Annabelle Kennedy, but it's Luke Wilson still all over young Zach Naylor. Zach won't want to make any error. Luke will find himself straight in there. Oh, we've got a stoppage. I think this is going to be a full, well, not a full restart. So just for everyone's information there, so it was young, Aidan Thompson's kart failed him on that time. We're just going to send him around again rather than put the pressure on him. Normally under safety car, even if they were about to be lapped, then he'd line up the front, but rather than put that pressure on him and have the whole field right behind him, we're sending him around to line back up at the tail end of the field, which is where he is coming in this race, 9th, and just alleviate that pressure of copping blue flags, be made to move over. So as you'll see, they're all being lined up effectively nose to tail now. It's like a safety car intervention, and effectively the virtual safety car is now pulling back in the pits. They're coming back onto the start finish straight, except we do it in a pause fashion. These kids will get the start, and it's my guess that we'll probably give them 5 laps. That's effectively 6 laps to go, but under time certain stuff, well, in the time it's taken to recover the race will be done. So we won't do that to them, but they'll get at least 4 or 5 laps at my guess. We've got the last of them all pulling up now, so it's going to be interesting. A bit hard on Naylor and Luke Wilson. They'd pulled a sizable gap on 3rd place Dan Sullivan, but that next group were pretty much nose to tail, but they've managed to get back on, so that's how it goes in real racing, and we're trying to replicate all that here. So here we go, the starter is at the ready. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, ready, set, they're off and racing. And it's the first two again, another great start by these two. Zach Naylor, Luke Wilson, Dan Sullivan, Ellie Wilson, Rockhelm, Kamalaka, Slater, Kennedy and Thompson now in another go-kart. So, yep, it might be a 4 lapper, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just going off what I'm seeing on the app. We show 4 laps remaining, but that always counts 1 as a cool-down lap in case of lap situations to record everybody. So look, it's the leaders again. They pulled that gap, so it's effectively back to where it was before. Oh no, Helms managed to get around young Ellie Wilson on this occasion, but there's that gap between 2nd and 3rd, and it's Zach Naylor, Luke Wilson, nose to tail. Dan Sullivan doing a great job in 3rd, Brockhelm 4th, Ellie Wilson 5th. Kamalaka is 6th, Slater is 7th, Kennedy is 8th, and Thompson is 9th. And a special shout out, I will say, to Aidan Thompson. He's done a 47.81. He's just on a second off the pace of the fastest competitors we have here, and he's fairly new to it all. That is very impressive. Majority of the cadet drivers that we have come here on general arrive and drive are all in the mid-50s, so as they get a bit more experience, low 50s, so anything under a 50 is a fantastic time, and that's what they're doing. But look at this race here. It's on Zach Naylor, Luke Wilson. A little bit of a gap back to Dan Sullivan, Brockhelm all over him. A little bit of a gap back to Ellie Wilson, then Kamalaka, Slater, Kennedy. She's going with them, 46.8, her best lap time. 46.2 is the fastest time in the race so far. So they're all pretty close. Looks like the last lap board's about to come out. Look at the gap these first two have put on. That's the way you do it. These guys race good. You watch this race to the end, boys and girls. So first two and then the next two, they had absolutely nothing in it. But as they come onto the straight, last lap board, it's Zach Naylor, Luke Wilson, Dan Sullivan. Brockhelm's got the eyes on. He wants to get himself in the top 3 here. A little bit of a gap back to Ellie Wilson, Kamalaka, Slater, Kennedy going with these guys. A little bit of a gap back to Aidan Thompson. who's come forward leaps and bounds, as mentioned, rounding out our field, but it's still on at the front here. But our fastest qualifier of the day, Zach Naylor, he's managed to hold this win the whole way through this race. He's driving fantastic. And well done, Zach Naylor. What a drive from Luke Wilson. Great drive by these guys. Good drive by Dan Sullivan, Brock Helm, Ellie Wilson, Kamalaka, Slater, Kennedy, and Aidan Thompson rounding out our field. Fastest lap of the race goes to our race winner with a 46.20 to Zach Naylor. So a great effort there. 46.223 for second place, Luke Wilson.